Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zeng. At the closing session of the CCP's most watched 20th National Congress, former CCP head and Xi Jinping's predecessor Hu Jintao was forcibly removed from the meeting. This thing has shocked the entire world, and people have been debating about why this happened. In the meantime, Xi Jinping not only gained an unprecedented third term, but also filled the new standing committee of the CCP's Politburo with all his own people. How will this affect us? Today I will talk about this. I will show you some exclusive content I came up with, the timeline of events before and after Hu Jintao's removal, so please watch closely. Before we move on, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and are still subscribed. YouTube has been unsubscribing people from my channel constantly, so please do check from time to time. Now, let's jump directly to 4 hypotheses or allegations about Hu Jintao's removal. Number 1 explanation comes from the CCP. Although the CCP has been censoring the news about Hu Jintao's removal inside China, the English Twitter account of Xinhua says he was removed because he was not feeling well. Number 2 hypothesis. There were 2 sets of name lists of the new leadership. Hu Jintao was given a fake one. When he found at the last minute that he was deceived, he was going to speak out or express to Xi Jinping that he would openly show his objection. Number 3 hypothesis. Xi Jinping purposely chose to remove him to humiliate him and to show to all CCP members who is the new absolute boss. Number 4 hypothesis. All the above 3 explanations have loopholes and cannot explain things perfectly. So we won't know the truth until the CCP collapses. Well, these are the 4 major hypotheses or explanations so far. So which one is more close to the truth? To figure out this, let's watch what happened at the meeting to establish some basic facts first. Let me show you, share some of the videos. So this is an exclusive video by Singapore media CNA. So far, this is the most complete one before Hu Jintao was removed. We can see that Li Zhanshu, the number 3rd CCP leader sitting next to Hu Jintao, took the folder away from Hu Jintao, who tried to get his folder back, but Li Zhanshu wouldn't allow him. She was watching this battle over the folder and turned his head to give a sign to someone. Then a security guard appeared, and she talked to him, and she pointed out to in front of him while taking someone. So she talked to him, and she pointed to the file in front of him while talking. Someone was heard saying something like, 别让他们翻过来, which means don't allow them to turn the pages or don't allow them to turn the file. Then the security guard removed the cover of the files and said something to Hu, but Li Zhanshu immediately put the cover back and talked to the security guard. Then there seemed to be a jump cut. Something was missing in between. The folder was in the security guard's hand, and he was trying to remove Hu Jintao, who looked very reluctant and unhappy. So, and there is another 21-second clip. Let's share that one also. We can see that the security guard keeps on trying to convince Hu Jintao to leave for some 21 minutes. Then we have then we have a 1 minute 47-second video by AFP agents France Press. Let's share that too. From this video, we can see that Hu Jintao tried to reach out for Xi Jinping's file, but she hurriedly pressed it. Then Li Zhanshu gave Hu Jintao's folder to the security guard, who keeps on asking Hu to leave. Then another guy came. People found out later that he is Kong Shaoxun, deputy director of the central office of the CCP's Central Committee, who resisted and obviously didn't want to leave. He tried to grab his file one more time, but the security guard didn't allow him. See, he tried to grab his file one more time. So they kept talking and arguing. And then Hu Jintao finally left. So from these videos, we can establish clearly the fact that 1, Hu Jintao didn't want to leave. 2, the focus on the dispute was the file in the folders. And from the enlarged image of the video, we can clearly see what inside the disputed folder is a name list. If we zoom in more, we can see the names on the top page are the members of the general scrutineers and scrutineers. So from this, we can establish that what is disputed was the congressional name list. Next, let's move to another important part of today's story, the timeline of events before and after Hu Jintao's removal. So these are some of the events. On October 15th, the delegates of the Congress, so-called elected, the 243-member Presidium of the 20th National Congress, Wang Huning, Xi Jinping's important supporter and the one who crafted the so-called Xi Jinping thoughts for Xi Jinping, was appointed Secretary General of the Congress. This is a very important fact. as all the concrete affairs of the Congress were to be arranged by the Congress Secretariat. The 46-member Standing Committee of the Presidium was also elected. Then, in the afternoon of October 20th and in the morning of October 21st, the so-called preliminary elections were conducted. Out of 222 candidates of the Central Committee, 205 were elected, while 17 were eliminated. The Presidium approved the draft list of the remaining candidates, which were to be confirmed at the closing session the following day. Then, in the afternoon of October 21st, the lists were submitted to delegates for deliberation. Then, according to the CCP's official report, at 9 a.m. on October 22nd, the closing session started with the adoption of the list of 2 general scrutineers and 36 scrutineers. Then, between 9 a.m. and 11:09 a.m. on October 22nd, the delegates elected or confirmed by secret ballot the 205-member 20th Central Committee. Please note that the so-called election is anonymous. You can just vote for yes or no for the persons who are already on the list. Then, at 11:09 a.m. on October 22nd, Xi Jinping announced that the 20th Central Committee and the Central Disciplinary Inspection Commission had been elected. When was Hu Jintao removed? My friend Simon Gao, an award-winning investigative journalist, made some important discoveries using the footage information provided by AFP. She found that according to AFP, the footage of Hu Jintao's removal was shot at 4:47 GMT, and 4:47 GMT is 12:47 p.m. Beijing time. So Hu Jintao was removed from the meeting at 12:47 p.m. on October 22nd. Then, on October 23rd, the CCP's new 24-member Politburo was announced. An important fact is, for the first time ever, the number of Politburo members is an even number. This has never happened before. Then, of course, when Xi let the new standing committee of the Politburo out to meet the press, people found that all the 7 members were Xi Jinping's yes men. No one from Hu Jintao's faction was left. Rumor has it that Hu Chunhua, who was appointed by Hu Jintao to be Xi Jinping's successor years ago, and who was said would be the next Chinese premier, was initially a member of Politburo, but he resigned after Hu Jintao was removed as a protest. That's why only 24 members were left. I'm not sure how true this rumor is, but it at least offers an explanation why the number is an even one instead of an odd one. So from the established facts we could gather from the video, I tend to believe Hu Jintao was removed because he wanted to dispute the name list, which was not the same as he had expected or had been led to believe. As to why he found out only at the last minute that the name list was wrong, there are also 2 hypotheses. One was again raised by Simon Gao. This is a TV report of the third meeting of the Presidium on October 21st. By checking it carefully, Simon observed that Hu Jintao, as well as other retired seniors such as former CCP head Jiang Zemin and former Chinese Premier Zhu Rongji, were not at the meeting. Therefore, although current Premier Li Keqiang and current Standing Committee member Wang Yang already knew that they had been eliminated from the Central Committee list, Hu Jintao did not know. That's why he was very surprised on the following day when he found out that both Li Keqiang and Wang Yang, who belonged to his so-called Youth League faction, were not even members of the Central Committee anymore. And then he lashed out. So that was the hypothesis of Simon Gao. Another possibility was raised by another popular Chinese language YouTuber Jiang Feng. According to him, what was given to the Presidium on October 21st to approve was a list that was agreed upon by all factions of the CCP, including Hu Jintao. However, because Xi Jinping's own man, Wang Huning, was in charge of the Secretariat of the Congress, it was not a problem at all for him to produce another set of name lists that was to be voted on formally by all delegates at the closing session. When Hu Jintao found out it was different from what he knew, he lashed out, and he purposely chose the time when foreign journalists had just entered the venue to make the biggest impact. Another issue is that by comparing the photo of Hu Jintao's removal and a photo of Xi Jinping with his bodyguard, people found that the security guard who removed Hu Jintao looks like Xi Jinping's bodyguard very much, especially their hairlines, which look pretty much the same. So this could further prove that Xinhua's claim that Hu was taken away because of a health issue is wrong. If it was a health issue, it should have been medical staff who came up to help. Now, basically, that was what I gathered so far about Hu Jintao's removal and the possible reasons behind it. Perhaps it no longer matters what was the reason behind it, as the result is all the same: Hu lost and Xi won. Now, let's look at some of the features of the new Standing Committee and core members of the new Politburo. First of all, they are all Xi Jinping's yes-men. The 4 newly added members were all Xi Jinping's former subordinates. For example, Xi Jinping was the party secretary of Zhejiang province from 2003 and 2007. And new member Li Qiang was the secretary general of the party committee of Zhejiang province then. And new member Cai Qi was the director of the organization department of the party committee of Zhejiang province, etc. The second feature is that the performance record is no longer an issue, while absolute loyalty to Xi is the first priority. For example, Li Qiang was considered a very controversial candidate as the mayor of Shanghai because of the iron fist lockdown he imposed in April this year. And Cai Qi was best known for his purge of millions of the so-called no-end population in 2017 when he was the mayor of Beijing. So people joke around that this is the dream team of Xi Jinping. While Xi Jinping is good at purging the high-end population, Li Qiang is good at eliminating the medium-end population, and Cai Qi is the one to deal with the low-end ones. This way, the three of them cover all populations of China, and everyone can be zeroed out. The third feature is the relatively low education level. While the current Premier Li Keqiang graduated from Peking University, one of the best universities in China, his possible successor Li Qiang started to work in a factory when he was 17 years old and entered an agricultural college when he was 19. Cai Qi and Zhao Leji are also both the so-called worker peasant soldier college students. This kind of student was admitted during the Cultural Revolution without taking an entrance examination. They were recommended as either a worker, a peasant, or a soldier by their workplaces. So most of these students were only politically right but had poor academic performances. The fourth feature is that Xi Jinping obviously hasn't arranged a successor for himself, as almost all the members are too old to be his successor. The fifth feature is that there are few or no people who really understand the economy in the new leadership. Li Qiang, who is going to be the premier of China, has never done any economic-related management jobs. His major was agricultural machinery in college, and he will be the first Chinese premier who has never worked as a vice premier in Chinese history, apart from Zhou Enlai, the first CCP premier in Mao Zedong's time. The sixth feature is that while few new core members understand the economy, there are more members from the CCP's political and legal system. For example, out of the 7 members of the new Central Committee Secretariat, 2 of them, including Wang Xiaohong, Minister of Public Security, and Chen Wenqi, Minister of State Security, are both from the political and legal system. Chinese people talk about the 3 most important things for the CCP to maintain its power. They are 枪杆子, 刀把子, and 笔杆子, which means the gun, the knife, and the pen. The gun represents the military. The knife represents the police and the spy systems, which are used to crack down on Chinese people, and the pen represents the propaganda and ideology system, which is used to brainwash and control people. So there are more people from the knife section in Xi's new leadership. This means Xi's suppression of the people will become more severe in the future. Another important thing to take notice of is the 2 new vice chairmen of the CCP's Central Military Commission. Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia is already 72 years old, much older than 68 years old, which is traditionally the age for the CCP officials to retire. People believe that the reason why he was chosen is that he had been involved in the 1979 Sino-Vietnamese border battle and the 1948 Battle of Two Mountains on the Sino-Vietnamese border, making him one of the few generals in the PLA with actual combat experience. Another vice chairman, He Weidong, was not even an alternative Central Committee member before, but got an exceptional promotion and directly became the vice chairman of the Central Military Commission and a member of the Politburo. Why this is exceptional promotion? People believe it is because he had been the commander of the Eastern Theater Command between 2019 to January this year. The Eastern Theater is the main offensive force against Taiwan, so his exceptional promotion could mean Xi Jinping's intention to accelerate his war against Taiwan. So how to look at the result of Xi's total victory at the 20th National Congress? You know, Xi Jinping has the nickname Accelerator in China. People say he has been leading the CCP to destruction. Well, after the 20th National Congress, perhaps Xi Jinping will change gear and accelerate and reverse even much faster. The index of Hong Kong's Hang Seng Stock Exchange surely reflected investors' fear and despair. On the first day after the CCP's 20th Congress, the index made a sharp drop of about 7%, the biggest one-day plunge since the financial crisis in 2008. Shanghai Stock Exchange made a likewise plunge. The Chinese yuan renminbi to US dollars exchange rate also dropped sharply. All this gave us an indication of how things will be in China under Xi Jinping's new era. How should we cope? As far as I know, many Chinese people are trying to sell their properties and migrate to overseas countries. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you are already subscribed, please like and share my content and check if you are still subscribed. Also, I would appreciate it very much if you could go to my website and jenniferzengblog.com, sign up for a membership or make a donation to support my truth-telling efforts. Thank you. See you next time.